Hello, everyone, and welcome to ParlAmericas live sessions at COP30. My name is Chrisette Benjamin, Gender Equality Program Officer at ParlAmericas. I am very pleased to be joined by the Honorable Rosa Galvez, Canadian Senator, Second Vice President of ParlAmericas, and President of the Parliamentary Network on Climate Change and Sustainability, who is currently attending COP30, which is the 30th conference of the parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, taking place in Belém do Pará, Brazil. We're truly grateful to have this opportunity to hear directly from Senator Galvez about her experience and insights on the conference. And through this conversation, we really hope to share a glimpse of COP30 with those who aren't able to be there in person, like myself, and highlight the important role parliamentarians play in advancing climate change across the Americas and the Caribbean. So before we dive into the conversation, let me briefly introduce our distinguished guests. Ms. Rosa Galvez, who's originally from Peru, is one of Canada's leading experts in pollution control and its effects on human health. She has a PhD in environmental engineering from McGill University and has been a professor at the Université Laval Quebec since 1994, heading the Civil and Water Engineering Department from 2010 to 2016. She specializes in water and soil contamination, waste management and residues, and environmental impact and risk assessment. Senator Galvez was appointed to the Senate on December 6, 2016, representing Quebec Bedford, and is an independent senator. Her work as a legislator focuses on strengthening environmental protection, the gender perspective, and income equality, as well as transparency in government. Senator Galvez was elected president of the Parliamentary Network on Climate Change and Sustainability during its fifth gathering held in June 2021. And she is also the treasurer of the ParlAmericas Corporation. So good morning, Senator Galvez, and welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. And my first question for the interview today is, can you share with us what a typical day has been like for you at COP30?
Yes, first, please, hello, and I hope that everybody's fine with all my colleagues in ParlAmericas. So many news to give. Here is crazy, it's very hot, it's in the middle of the jungle. Well, what's a typical day here? So it starts very early, 7:30, we are here by 8 o'clock. In the COPs, there are different areas, there are different zones. They are called the blue zone, the green zone, and the side event zone, and also where the official meetings have place, and also where outside the venue there are so many other places. So there is plenty to see. Of course, people follow the big negotiations. The negotiators and the observers follow the big negotiations. There is also big amphitheaters where the leaders give their speeches and tell the world what is their position or what is their ambition or what are their constraints. So I was very happy to hear President Lula calling for phasing out fossil fuels, and then after the negotiators trying to include this issue in the outcome, in the statement. So probably second, you want to know what I do. So my day is very full. As I said, I arrived here at 7:30 at 8. I leave here by 6. And I spend my time in listening to conferences, in speaking myself into different invitations that I had this year. I had 15 invitations to speak to events that range from the youth, from NGOs, from the government, from institutions, from think tanks, from parliamentarians meeting. And so it has been very, very, very busy.
I'm very happy to hear about the exciting adventures, long days, but really exciting adventures, it sounds like. And COP is known for fostering meaningful bilateral exchanges and hosting a wide range of side events, as you mentioned. Have you had any conversations or attended any sessions that particularly stood out to you, those that felt relevant to the Americas and the Caribbean region?
Yes, absolutely. So, at the beginning, when I started coming to these COPs, I came as a scientist. I was investigating the impact of extreme weather events into infrastructure. So I have kept that interest because I have to keep up with what the science says. So I had the chance to listen to very high top scientists that talk about the planetary limits and the other crises that the world is facing, notably biodiversity loss, desertification, ocean acidification, apart from the global warming and the plastic pollution, the new elements that contaminate the air, the soil, and the water. Apart from that, of course, as a senator and as a member of ParlAmericas and different various group of parliamentarians, I want to hear what policymakers are saying and try to push that evidence should guide the policies that are in development. And evidence and facts should be there in order to see that we report the progress. So it is extremely important that we don't have only targets. And our prime minister is saying, I don't care much on targets, I care on results. Well, just to make a clarification that the 1.5 degrees is not actually a target. It is a boundary. We already exceeded the 1.5 degrees plus from after the Industrial Revolution. We already are seeing that the global warming effects are not at the distant future. They are here, and Canada is very well placed to know that we are warming. Meridional Canada is warming at 2-3 times faster, and our Arctic is warming at 5 to 7 times faster. So we are very well placed to know that extreme weather events are happening every year, every time, in the form of wildfires, inundations, hurricanes that are making now to the whole Caribbean area, and that is sad and it's unfair because, for example, the island nations, such as the ones in the Caribbean, have done very little to cause this problem. And so, therefore, it is so important that the governments, the executive, the parliamentarian pushes for environmental justice, and that this transition doesn't already penalize groups of citizens like the elderly, the vulnerable, the women, the children, and that in this transition, talking with the energy revolution, we don't get to export raw critical minerals. That is a little bit like stealing from future generations. So, of course, also there is the room for parliamentary diplomacy. I have met with bilateral and multilateral meetings. I have met individually with some countries, European countries, and individual parliamentarians from Brazil, from Costa Rica, from Colombia, from Peru, from Zambia, from Ghana, from Jamaica, and multilaterals. Like this afternoon, I will be meeting with members of the European Parliament.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights thus far and your experiences meeting with these different stakeholders, and as well as for your advocacy, especially for Caribbean islands. That resonates with me because I am actually from Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you very much for your advocacy, and also looking at the different intersections in terms of how the climate crisis is affecting different groups in varying ways. Which leads me to my other question. Looking ahead, what are some of the concrete ideas or takeaways from COP30 that you feel parliamentarians could bring back and work to implement in their national context or within interparliamentary work?
Yes, so our role is growing. is growing. I remember the first COPs that I came where there was no room for the parliamentarians from other parties. It was the executive that sent the negotiators and they are there negotiating. But now more and more we have different groups of parliamentarians that are here. We have the International Parliamentary Union that has a side event only for parliamentarians. We have GLOB parliamentarians from UK that organizes parliamentarians. Then we have also, I belong to ParlAmericas, which is present, which I am also representing here. And I have other group of parliamentarians, such as, for example, the parliamentarians for a fossil-free future. And so the power of this, it's incredible. So I will just talk to you about this initiative. We produced this. So with the parliamentarians for a fossil-free future that we try to tell everybody we need to phase out the fossil fuels because it is not anymore a technical issue. It is not anymore an economical issue. It is not anymore a political issue because when you individually, when you take the pulse of the populations, it is so interesting to see that populations, whether in South America, whether in Caribbean, whether in North America, and including Canada, 60% and plus are for more climate action. So what is missing actually is the political will. And so the political will, I am understanding that it works more into give up to the pressure of certain lobbies and give up to the pressure of, the incumbent technology. But we know that there is now science have give the evidence and technology is there with so many renewable energy to produce electricity that it is not anymore an economic argument not to go into the transition. The problem is that it has to be a just transition that doesn't leave nobody behind. So I'm looking very much forward to this, the implementation of the transition plan, which is people are now talking a lot because we need the details of the transition plan. We don't have any, we know the net zero 2050, we know we want to attain that, but inside the evil is in the details. So what we need to know is present the specific plans and then report on the implementation, which is being promised here for, I think, 3 COPs past. And now the stake, the stock stake, the global state of the planet is telling us that we have break 7 of the 9 mechanisms that regulates the planet and its functioning that makes it hospitable for human beings to live here. So the clock is ticking, the time is running, and we really need to follow the change the paradigm.
Thank you very much for raising that transition plan, as well as really echoing and reiterating the importance of time is running out. Thank you for raising those points. And to conclude, is there anything else you would like to share about your experience at COP or your work to advance climate action?
Yes. So first, thank you to you guys, to ParlAmericas, doing such a fantastic job and really increasing the knowledge among parliamentarians of the situation and the specificities of each region. Thank you so much for putting us together and have these networks on climate change and sustainability, open parliaments, and gender equality, because there are so many areas and subjects that are transversal. And we really need to stop treating the crisis in silos. And I think that ParlAmerica does beautifully this. I also want to ask everybody to follow what's coming out from the COP and to bring these informations to their own parliament and say that, you know, our economy is based on nature. Nature doesn't need economy, but economy needs nature. And I think we have to change the paradigm and we need to change the way we see things, because our famous GDP is based on ecological services, is based on biodiversity, is based on natural resources, whether they are renewable or non-renewable. So we really have to give a value to nature, and value and nature has a value while it is alive, not only dead. A tree doesn't have value only when it's in the ground cut. It has, while living, it has so many, it gives us so many ecological services. And to that, just one single tiny example, the city of Medellin has bring down 2 degrees of temperature to mitigate the heat domes by planting trees. So I'm sad to hear that our government is cutting the objective of planting so many millions of trees, but it has to replace it with somebody else, because in Canada, we are certain that 2026 is going to bring new extreme weather events that are going to be very, very, very expensive. Just last year, 9.1 billion of insurance losses occurred in Canada. And we are complaining that our country is in deficit. So we really have to elbows up, nation building, real nation building. A pipeline is not a nation building, but we need to build a prosperous, sustainable future for everybody, inclusive, that doesn't leave anybody behind. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, Senator Galvez, and always for repeating and really underscoring the message that we really need to build a sustainable and inclusive future for everybody that leaves no one behind. And what a lovely way to end this interview. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule at COP30 to share insights with us today. It has been incredibly valuable to hear your reflections and your advocacy, especially as it takes place in our hemisphere. For those who will be watching this on YouTube and on our social media accounts, this will also be featured on our COP30, post-COP30 rather, newsletters, and will be available on our social media pages. So feel free to share this with everyone, as very valuable information was shared here today. So thank you so much, and do enjoy the rest of your COP season.
Bye-bye.
Bye.